Oh my goodness. Feeling it today, boys. Feeling it today. Well, the charts are still here. Let's see what we can figure out. I feel quite defeated, though. I'll admit. Quite defeated. But we're going to talk about what we're grateful for on this stream, right? Let's get it. Let's go. Boy, oh boy. Hey folks, welcome back to Surely Sound Studio. My name's Martin. You can call me Marty. This is my show. So let's go. Honestly, if you've been watching the show, you know what I've been doing for the last month or so. I had to take the Blue Jays hat off today. It's devastating loss. Devastating loss. Turn the music down a little bit. That's aggressive. I don't need to compete with that right now. I can't compete with anything right now. I feel defeated AF. But we're going to talk about what we're grateful for here on the show. Talk about where the markets are going to go. Man, I got to stop rhyming. Stop it. It's enough. It's enough of that. Okay. Honestly, though, just start the stream off with shout out to the Blue Jays, okay? You guys, phenomenal season. It was absolutely devastating. You had your chances. There was plenty of things that could have gone other ways and things that were ridiculous. The Dodgers had luck on their side. No doubt about it. Is it rigged? I don't know. I think everything's fucking rigged, so who knows? But either way, the Jays grinded. Bo Bichette came back after being injured for a month after having one of the best seasons of his career and still finishing in the top 5 of all the players after missing a month, the last month of the season, and finally came back, made it to his team, grinded out the playoffs to get to the World Series so that he could come back and play in the 2025 playoffs. And he got a 3-run shot in the 3rd and everything was looking great. And then the Dodgers just clawed back. Shout out to Teoscar Hernandez. He's a beauty. Congratulations. Everybody else in the Dodgers can suck it, though. Oh, man. Okay, we're not here to talk about that. All right, it's enough. That's behind us. It was great. Honestly, that was one of the funnest months of my life. Blue Jays every single day, pretty much. Man, it was so fun to watch them run the way they did. And they're just getting started. They're young. There's only 6 guys on the team that were alive in 93, right? So they're all young. Hopefully we're locking up a few of them for a few more years and we can do again what we did. Hopefully we get a chance with that team again. With that group, obviously it won't be the core group. Hopefully we can hold on to Bichette. He's going to be a free agent after this, and he deserves a big payday, and honestly he'll probably end up playing for the Dodgers because they can pay him. But let's hope. Let's not worry about that. I thought I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Okay. Either way, great season, boys. Great season. Let's look at this chart, man. I have been pretty unplugged from the charts for the last month or so. Let's go. I just want to have a look at this chart for a sec. Actually, let's go back and look at this chart. So we were here last week, literally last Sunday. We were right here. And we put this red box in the chart and said, look for shorts. I didn't take any trades. I wasn't paying attention. I called it, look for shorts here, and we literally just tapped it. And we got rejected. And it would have been a beautiful short, but I did not take it. I was doing other things. So let's see what we can do now, because it's time to focus, okay? The sports, it's distraction, right? It's supposed to keep us all distracted. That's the whole point of it. It did. Even myself, somebody who knows how it all works, still gets distracted when the boys make a run like that. That was a lot of fun. And actually kind of fitting for what's going on in Canada right now. I don't know if you are Canadian or not, or pay attention, but Canada is not doing well. Sure, the country looks great. It's very beautiful. Lots of great people. But look at the numbers, and we are not doing well. Only 8 years ago, Canada was in like the top 4 countries. GDP, sustainable living, happiness, wealth, all that stuff. We have slipped. I believe we're in the like low high 20s. I don't know. I was looking at it the other day. It's not good. It's not good. It's kind of weird that the Blue Jays did what they did while Canada is slipping as bad as they are. Because like, how many people came together to watch the Blue Jays, but how many Canadians won't come together to save their own country? Well, I'll tell you, it's easy to watch the Blue Jays. It's easy. They put it all out for you. There's people that announce it and talk about it, explain it, play by play. Constantly, you're getting told what's happening. It's not the same when it comes to economics. Nobody's telling you what's happening in the economy. Everybody just thinks, oh yeah, it's good, right? It's good. Like nobody's trying to kill me, so it should be fine. Yeah. I mean, that's one way to look at it, and it's not wrong. But if you look at the numbers, Canada is on the edge. We are on the edge. I've been telling people for a couple years now that it's like, don't be surprised if Canada turns into either a communist country or a third world country here in the next decade. And you're like, how could that happen? How could that happen? This place is amazing. We have everything we need. Well, guess what? Oh yes, all those resources that we have, that's how. Why do you think the Middle East turned into what it is? The resources that they had. Okay? I don't want to be the guy that's saying this. It's terrible to say. I have friends and family. I love this country. I live here. But the stats are what they are. Canada is sitting on a lot of resources, and a lot of the world wants those resources. And if we're not going to play the game, world trade, somebody's going to come and take it from us. Plain and simple. We got a lot of hippies, a lot of people that want to protect the trees, and I get it. I want to protect the trees too. But the world that we live in revolves around GDP. Means your economy needs to continue to grow, or else you're going to lose. Okay? We are in a recession. We've been in a recession for like 2 years, if you look at the numbers. Nobody wants to tell you that. Nobody wants to admit it. But I mean, like, go into some stores, go into certain places here or there, you see empty shelves. Even the grocery stores, like, are missing, there's no milk, there's no whatever. Like, there's a bunch of people on strike. It's not looking great. So how do we prepare is the question, right? How do we prepare for what is inevitably going to happen? Because we have one of 2 roads to pick here. Where's the camera? We have one of 2 roads. Which road are we going to pick? Road 1. We start selling our resources. We start drilling for oil. We start milling the trees. We stop shipping everything to Canada, and we start doing it here. Sorry, did I say Canada? We stop shipping shit to China, and we do it here in Canada, and then we ship the product. We ship the product, not the resources, okay? We need to ship the product after we've produced it so that it's consumable for the rest of the world, okay? That's how the world works. And if we don't do that, somebody else is going to come do it. All right, it's enough. It's enough. What are we looking for this week? Let's see. It's time to make some money, I guess. Let's friggin'... man. You all know, if you're watching the show, we took profits, we took profits, we took profits, we took profits. We had a lot of fun last month. October was devastating for most people. It was amazing for me because I pay attention to the charts, okay? Everybody that I see on social media, etc., whatever else, you know, everybody thought, look at that, doom and gloom, okay? So everybody thought, yeah, this is me. I can't do it. I can't. Here you go. You wake up and you see this, right? This is what everybody was talking about. October was supposed to be Uptober, right? Like, no, man. Look at the charts. You can't just base your thesis off of what's happened in the past, okay? It's a good start. Knowing history is a very good start. But you have to understand the environment that you're in. And you have to understand, where is the money going to come from? Okay? If we're going to see the price of something go up, that means the market cap has to be added to. Money has to be coming in. We need to see money flowing in. We did not see money flowing in. We haven't seen money flowing in for months. Literally since probably June. The summer was people taking profits. And then we come back after summer and it's still people taking profits because they come back after summer and they took a bunch of profits and like, oh, wow, look, the charts are still up. We're still over 100K. Should probably take profits. We bought at 20K. We bought at 15K. We bought at 40K. We're going to take profits. You have to understand here, the majority of the big players are 2xing their portfolio this year. 2x. Okay? That's 100%. If you don't understand what's going on right now, it's time to pay attention. Okay? This is not something to be taken lightly. What's going on right now in the financial system is going to affect the entire world because the entire world is run by the financial system. It doesn't matter what you believe, doesn't matter what you think is going to happen or who you said or who you heard from. The financial system is what runs the world. Okay? Plain and simple. Wake up, understand how it works, get yourself plugged in properly. Okay? Unplug from the bullshit, plug into what's real. Okay? This is what's real. I like to watch Bitcoin because it's the king. It's the best asset, best performing asset in the last decade. That's what we have to go off of. Bitcoin is usually I'm not going to say a leading indicator, but it's something that we can watch to see how the rest of the world is doing. And what I want people to understand is that when Bitcoin goes up, it's not as good of a thing as most people think. Like, yay, Bitcoin's going up. If you're holding Bitcoin and it's going up, it feels great, right? But the reason that Bitcoin is going up is because it's an asset compared to your dollar. Whether it's the US dollar, the euro, Canadian dollar, it doesn't really matter. Pay attention to the United States dollar because it's the world reserve currency at the moment. So that's really the only one that you need to pay attention to. Because whatever happens with that is going to reflect on everything else. So instead of going, people always ask me, oh, what's Bitcoin at Canadian? I'm like, I never look at the Bitcoin price in Canadian dollars. That's pointless. Why would I do that? That's because then I would have to go from the Canadian dollar and then do the exchange rate to the American dollar to figure out what I'm actually looking. Why would I do that? Just go straight to the American dollar. It's the world reserve currency. It's what we base everything's value in globally. So that's what we pay attention to. Okay. Yes, I'm Canadian, but the world reserve currency is the US dollar. So that's what we're watching. That's what we pay attention to. That's what's getting printed indefinitely to make you all poor. Currency debasement is... okay, hold on. I got a question for you. See if anybody can answer this. What takes... I'm pretty sure I posted this. Let's see if I posted it. What once took 200 years now happens twice a year. Any takers? What once took 200 fucking years now happens twice a year. Anybody? $1 trillion in debt. 1 trillion new dollars in debt. The first $1 trillion took 200 years. Now we're going up $1 trillion twice a year. Yield curve, danger, caution, extreme caution. Figure out what's going on here, okay? This is why we pay attention to Bitcoin. Because oh man, wow, look at that. Oh, sold the top, baby. Sold the top. Well, for now. Okay, so if you've been watching the show, you know that, yes, I sold the top. Where's my chart? Where's my other chart here? We predicted the top years ago. I put this red line on here based on math, based on previous economic data. It's really not that hard. You know, when you understand how to start charting, you can figure it out. But look, here we go. We got bottom. We got top. This is years ago. I put these on here. Years ago. Top, bottom, top, bottom. It goes all the way back. All the way back. Top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Okay? So you figured it out. Yes, I did. Thank you. You're welcome. That was the top. That was the top in the environment that we have been living in for the last 10 years. Okay? So I am inclined to predict that this is going to get invalidated. I mean, eventually it will for sure. It might take 2 years, but that's best case scenario. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what do you mean best case scenario? I don't want to wait 2 years before Bitcoin goes back over $126,000. It's like, well, I mean, look at it this way. If Bitcoin starts to go down in price, then most likely houses will be going down in price. Groceries will be going down in price. Gas will be going down in price. It will be the product of the dollar getting stronger. However, we know that it's not going to last because what do? They print it. They print it. You go to jail if you print money. They print it every day. Okay? You go to jail if you don't pay your taxes. They don't pay taxes. They print money to cover the deficit. Your tax dollars do not go to paying the deficit. They do not go to any of the things that you are told they go to. They go directly to their bank accounts. And in turn, their real estate, their assets, their Bitcoin. So how do you win, right? How do you win? How do you win a game that's rigged? Well, you play the game. You figure it out. Okay? I tried. Decades of my life, I tried to inform people that, hey, we might be, we might not have the money, but we have the numbers. And whatever we do, they have to oblige. Like, we have the numbers. We get to make the decisions. They are business owners. Their job is to make money. They make money by selling shit to us. You go to work, you make money, you pay taxes, you give them your money. You buy shit off Amazon, you give them your money. You buy tickets to the World Series, you give them your money, right? They are in the business of making money. So you have to understand, they're going to take that money and they're going to buy assets. They're going to inflate the prices of these assets every single dollar that they put in. Every dollar gets printed. It gets given to the lower class. The lower class consumes. The upper class soaks it all up. The whales, man, the whales. They soak it all up. It's a perfectly designed system. They print the money, they give it to the poor give it right back to the rich. So what do you do, right? How do you beat it? How do you win? You got to think like the rich. Whether you're rich or not doesn't matter, man. Wealth is a state of mind. I I may not be the wealthiest person on the books with money and stuff like that, but I am probably one of the richest men in the world because I have good friends. I have loving family. Honestly, I've created everything that I once dreamed of as a teenager is what I'm living right now. I manifested my destiny and I'm here and I want to hold on to it. So currency debasement is going to be something that I'm paying attention to strongly so that I can maintain this dream life that I have built for myself and my family. And also, when you are looking for something to do and it's like Thursday or Wednesday and you don't even realize that it's the middle of the week and you like shout out to your homies or something or reach out to your homies and they don't get back to you for a couple hours, like, what's going on? And they're like, yo, sorry, bro, I was at work. I'm like, oh, right. It's the middle of the week. So I want to try to inform as many people as I can that are close to me so that we can all hang out during the week. Okay? If you're able to take your kids to school, pick them up at the end of the day, take them for lunch, like these kind of things, that's true wealth, okay? Time is your greatest asset. Aside from your body, the avatar that you are in this world, experiencing this life with, that is your number one asset. Please take care of your body. Drink more water. I don't care how much water you drink more. Understand alkaline and acidic. Understand the chemistry between the two. Understand what a base is. Baking soda, stuff like that. Understand how your body works. Everybody's freaking out about cancer these days, but it is like one of the easiest things to treat if you understand how the body works. We're not getting into that right now. We can't get into that. That's just one of the biggest scams that's happening amongst all the scams. Everything's a scam. I hope you know this right now. Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. Of course it's a Ponzi scheme, man. Everything's a Ponzi scheme. The definition of a Ponzi scheme is old investors are paid by new investors. So probably nobody that's watching this owns a house, but if you do, how much did you pay for your house? Guess what? The guy that you bought it off of paid half as much as you did. Maybe even less. And the guy that bought it off of him paid even less. Okay? Real estate, if you want to say Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme, that's fine. But you just have to understand that it's because the entire world is a Ponzi scheme, okay? Every time they're inflating the currency, debasing the currency, everything's a Ponzi scheme. So why wouldn't you hop on the Ponzi that's the best performer, right? Okay, so real estate, probably untangible for most. There is one kid that I know of that's in their early to mid 20s that's bought a house. One. I am in my mid 30s. I was lucky enough to be stupid to think that I should probably buy a house because I had a kid when I was 24. So I was like, that's what you do, right? You buy a house. I had no idea what I was doing. I got dumb lucky. And I bought a house when I was 25. None of my friends have bought houses. None of them. I have a couple friends that have houses because of their parents. But ultimately, nobody can afford to buy a house. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Everybody, however, can afford to buy assets in 2025. Okay? In 2025, we're in a whole new environment. Okay? The last 10 years have changed finance forever. It's not going to go back. Okay? I think best case scenario for real estate, steady climb simply because of currency debasement. We don't want to see investors pushing out people that are trying to buy a house to live in, simply because those investors are looking to double their money. Okay, we have here in Canada, we have speculation tax. If you don't live in the house, you got to pay extra tax because they're trying, there's a number of other things to try and avoid people investing in real estate, because when people invest in real estate, it inflates the market. They put more money in, and then this is how it works. BlackRock buys a whole development, 100 houses, and then wants to sell them, right? Sells the first one. Let's just say easy numbers here. Funny, but we'll say it anyways. Sells the first one for $100,000. $100,000. Yeah, I know you're laughing, right? 100,000 houses around here are over $1 million, well over $1 million. You ain't gonna find a house for less than $1 million around here. Even a fucking reno, smash it down, basically nothing is over $1 million. Okay, back to it. BlackRock buys all the houses. They sell the first house to you for $1 million, or sorry, 100,000. They sell the next one for 110. They sell the next one for 140. They sell the next one for 180. They sell the next one for 210, etc., etc., etc. This continues to go on. The house, the first house that they sold for $100,000 is now valued at the house, at the same as the house that they sold, the last house that they sold. 100 houses removed from that original sale. We're over $1 million now, right? That house may have changed hands a couple times. Regardless, that is still the exact same house that was bought for $100,000. Nothing's changed. Maybe got a new appliance or something. Like, nothing has changed. But now that house is worth selling for $1 million too. Why? There's nothing in that house that has changed. The drywall is crap. The wood that they build it is probably like 6-year-old spruce garbage, absolute garbage. Okay, why is that house worth $1 million when it sold for $100,000 only 10 years ago? Okay, that's currency debasement. The house isn't worth any more. Look at that house. It's the exact same house that it was 10 years ago. It's actually probably should be worth less because it's getting moldy or things are falling apart or whatever, right? We build houses out of wood. Wood rots. So it's not going to last. Again, there's just another freaking scam down the road. God damn. Why can't we go back to building houses out of stone? They last forever. That's why. There's no value in that. Bottom line is, though, currency debasement is what's happening. That's why Bitcoin's going up. That's why houses are going up. That's why groceries are going up. Our best case scenario is to see things go sideways. Stagflation. They say it's the enemy. We don't want stagflation. What do you mean we don't want stagflation? As a consumer, you want stagflation because every time you go to the grocery store, every time you go to the mechanic, every time you go to wherever you're going to go to spend money, it's going to be the same. So you can budget. You can write it down on paper. The money that you make, the money that's going out, the money that's going in, you can write it down. You can keep track of it. You can maintain a budget. Stagflation. That means everything's the same. Am I yelling? Is the mic peaking? I'm sorry. But oh, no, stagflation is the enemy. We don't want stagflation. You know why they say that? You know why they say that? Because they are traders. Okay? We just watched. In that Dodger game, we had Glass now. I think he's like 300 mil. We saw Snell, 200 mil, 300 mil. Like we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. These guys, man, like, I don't know. I don't even know, man. Like, best case scenario, stagflation, but it's not going to last. It's not going to last. They are traders. What I was getting at is those players that make hundreds of millions of dollars, you think these guys are the biggest paid. Vladdy signs the biggest contract. Ohtani signs the biggest contract. These players, Ohtani makes $70,000 an at bat for what? Like 4 minutes? 70,000. Oh my, you're like, oh man, I can't even make 70,000 in a year. He makes it in 4 minutes. These guys are making so much money. Guess what? Traders make more. Traders make more, way more. The highest paid people on this planet are traders. Every politician is a trader. How do you think they got there? They started by trading. You figure out how to trade, figure out how the markets work, then you get into a position where you can manipulate the markets. Then all your trades are winning trades. You have to understand here, they're not trying to be a politician to help you. Not even the slightest. They want to be a politician to help their trades. Okay? Imagine if you were a trader and you could win 100% of your trades. Right? Imagine win rate 100%. 100% win rate. All right? Like I have maybe a 50 or 60% win rate. Honestly, over the past 5 years of trading. But I'm still profitable because my losses are small. But they have figured out, they want 100%. They're greedy. They want 100% win rate. How do they do that? Well, they have to get into a position where they can manipulate the masses, where they can direct everybody into when you're going to buy, where you're going to buy, how you're going to do it, when you're going to sell. So the politicians are in the position for themselves and their families. They've been in these positions for generations. Okay? Trudeau, Senior, Trudeau, Junior. Right? We're looking at, everyone looks at Trump. And what's his kid's name? Eric? Guess what? Kid's worth $150 million from trading his dad's calls. They don't give a shit about you. It has nothing to do with fighting for the people. Has nothing to do with making America great, making Canada great. Like, they are in it as traders to position themselves for 100% win rate. Plain and simple. If you think that voting is going to change the world, you've been had. If you think that protesting is going to change the world, you've been had. You have to understand that these people that are in the position that they are in hold so much power and have so much money and manipulation that doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what you do. And it doesn't matter what they say. Okay? Because you believe what they say, but it ain't gonna happen. I've been of voting age for, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. I don't even know. I figured out real quick after the first time I voted and nothing changed. Well, that didn't work, right? Am I going to try it again and see if it works? No, because when I try a strategy when I'm trading and it's a losing strategy, I walk away from that strategy. I don't do it again. Oh, maybe it'll work this time. That's a definition of insanity, folks. If something doesn't work, if you repeat the same thing over and over again and it's not working, what are you doing? Okay? You need to understand how the world works if you want to get ahead. You can't listen to people who are trying to manipulate you for their own good, for their 100% win rate, if you want to make the world a better place. Like, come on, man. Like, give your head a shake. Give your head a shake. If it doesn't work once, what's it called? What's they say? They say, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, or something like that. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? Why would you even let it get to twice? You've been fooled. You've been had. Look at the commercials on TV. They're celebrating hyperinflation. Have you not noticed what's going on right now? I don't watch TV much at all. I watched a lot of TV because of the Blue Jays run that we just had. Fidelity commercials, Simple commercials, all these investing, take your future in your own hands. They're looking for exit liquidity, folks. These are top signals. Okay? Same thing happens over and over and over again. Let's go back to that other chart. Same thing happens over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. Top, bottom, and we pump it up. Guess what? They got you to buy here. they told you to sell here. Whammy. And then they told you, oh, hey, did you guys notice? It's probably a good time to buy Bitcoin. And you bought here, and then they shook you out and you sold here. And we had a massive shake. Look at that. That's freaking 2020 shakeout. That looks just minuscule compared to... That was devastating. That shook the entire world. This little guy right here. This little guy right here shook the entire world. And it's funny because look where it came from. Wham! And just beep, beep. But that shook the entire world. Literally everybody believed that the end of the world was coming because of that. Because they didn't have the proper perspective. They didn't have a chart in front of them. Of course, the news isn't going to show you perspective that benefits you. Why would they do that? Because then that's going to affect their 100% win rate. They don't want that. You need to do your own research. Do your own research. Get TradingView. Get some sort of charting. The internet has every bit of information humanity has ever figured out, ever. Use it. Other than looking at stupid videos, AI of freaking Stephen Hawking in the X Games. Like, come on, man. That shit's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. I laugh my ass off at that stuff. But use it to benefit yourself. Okay? Or stop complaining. One of the two. I mean, just pick one. Like either, that's what just drives me insane. People that complain about how shitty their life is and how, but they won't do anything to change it. It's like, really? Really? Everything is here. Everything is here. Everything is here for you to change your own life, but you won't do it. You just want to complain about it. Man, I'm losing it. I'm shook, man. I feel quite defeated. I woke up this morning and I've never felt this way in my life. Like, honestly, last night when the boys were so close to winning it, I never felt that feeling in my life. It was a new feeling. I woke up this morning with a new feeling. I've been in crypto since 2017 and I've never been rug pulled like that. Last night I got rug pulled, man. Rug pulled, swing right out from my feet. Go, come on, could have had it, boys. You could have had it. I'm shook. It's shaking me right up. Rocking the boat. Okay, purple line, 200 moving average. That's home. Okay, all we did was come back home. That's all we did. It wasn't nothing big. We just came back home. We got away from home. We got too far away from home. Mom's ringing the dinner bell. Dinner bell. Hey, dinner bell's ringing. Dinner bell's ringing. Time to come back home. Okay. Well, we tried it. We tried to get home, but then Steve's like, "Oh, dude, you got to check out this new bike track. I just found a new bike track." So we're off into the bike, off in the trails again. Mom's still ringing the dinner bell. Come on, you got to come back home. Okay, we come back home. We literally come back home just for like minutes. We come home and then we're gone. One little bite to eat and then see you later. Currency debasement continues. Whammy. Right after y'all got shook out. Whammy. And we go sideways. And everybody's paying attention to crypto. Everybody's paying attention to crypto right here. This is funny. These circles I put on here years ago. I put it on. There you go. Right where that line is. So I guess it was a year ago. What's that? July 2024. Over a year ago, I put these circles on here. And look at that. Look at my prediction. Up for a bit. Sideways for a bit. Up for a bit. Pretty close. Not too bad. How did he figure that out? How did he do it? Because I'm paying attention. Attention. Oh, man. So, everybody's paying attention to crypto here. They get wrecked. We come back home. We dip below home. FTX collapses, by the way. This little guy here, that's FTX collapse. That was all over every single channel that you could go and see. YouTube, TV, Twitter, Facecock, whatever you want to look at. Like, that was everything. And look at the little guy. Just a tiny little guy. Oh, so cute. So cute. Everybody. And we spent, I don't know, maybe 2 months below it. 2 months at home. This was November, December 22 to 23. And right here, folks, right here, mark this on your chart. January 1st, 2023, BlackRock entered the game. Do you know who BlackRock is? You should if you don't. This right here, folks, is when they entered Bitcoin. You know what's funny is they didn't tell you that they entered Bitcoin until about, maybe it was about here, I think. They started to disclose that they had Bitcoin on their balance sheet. But the funny thing is Bitcoin was about $70,000 when they disclosed that. And guess what? Bitcoin's open source, folks, so we can go figure out what happened, how they do it. You go look at their wallet, and their average price, even though they say they've just started buying Bitcoin at $70,000, was under $40K. How can they have an average price of under $40,000, Marty, if they just started buying today? How could they do that? Well, guess what? Wrong again. Mama's wrong again. Alligators angry because they got no tooth and no toothbrush. Well, Mama's wrong again. It's the medulla oblongata, okay? It's the medulla oblongata. They were buying down here, okay? When they were telling you that you shouldn't do it, don't do it. No way. The Bitcoin, no. You don't want to touch that. Not with a 10-foot pole. Remember, 6 feet. 6 feet. That's where I guess that was past then, but they said no. They said no. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Ricky Bobby. And meanwhile, they did it. They told you not to do it, and they were doing it. I mean, how else do you have a average price below $40,000? Anyways, it's all here. It's all here, folks. That's what I love about Bitcoin. And I think it's funny how some people are like, the CIA created Bitcoin, or Putin created Bitcoin, or whatever. It's like, you know what, man? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. Whoever created Bitcoin is either dead or shooting themselves or wishing they were dead. Because if the CIA created Bitcoin to control you and keep track of all your transactions, they screwed themselves. Because guess what? I've got nothing to hide. I'm live on YouTube trying to tell you how the world works. I've got nothing to hide. Jerry down the street from me, he's got nothing to hide. Guess who's got something to hide? Guess. Take a guess. Who's got something to hide? Who's taking your tax dollars and shipping them overseas for relief? You know, where's that money going? Are you watching the books? Are you watching the liquidity? I'm addicted to liquidity. Like Robin Williams said, we just need a little bit more liquidity, man. Like, I'm addicted to watching liquidity. I love watching the order books. I sit there like people are scrolling reels. Like my wife's, I'm sitting on the couch and she's scrolling reels and I'm just looking at order books. I'm just watching order books. She's like, what are you looking at? A bunch of numbers and stuff. I'm like, oh, oh, there goes $1 billion. Oh, wow. There goes $1 billion. There goes $1 billion. $1 billion. $1 billion. We're talking one transaction, $1 billion. What? Can you even fathom how much money $1 billion is? These people are moving this money around like you would, like it's freaking pennies, man. They got rid of the penny. Yeah, well, we're going to need the penny again soon. They've got things to hide, okay? We don't have nothing to hide. We've got nothing. We've got nothing, okay? I mean, my life is amazing. I've got everything because of my perspective, right? My perspective is I've got everything. I love my life. I love my wife. I love my family. I love my friends. I love my country. You know, my perspective is I'm grateful. I am very grateful. But reality is different from my perspective. My perspective is just to get me through the day to day. Reality, what is actually happening, has nothing to do with my opinion, nothing to do with my perspective, nothing at all. What they are doing is debasing your currency. They are buying assets. They are buying land. They are buying Bitcoin. They are buying Ethereum. Maybe Cardano. I don't know. I wouldn't get too deep into the alts. Personally, Bitcoin is really the only one that you should pay attention to. But they, as fast as they can print it, they are putting it into assets. Okay? So what I was getting at earlier is Bitcoin going sideways is good for everybody. It's the best case scenario because we know what happens. We know what happens. It doesn't go sideways for very long. Every single time you think it's over, whammy! You think it's over, whammy. Well, guess what? Look at it. Same thing happens over and over and over again. Where do you think we're going? Look at this chart. Look at this chart. Oh my God, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. Look at that. Numbers never end, folks. Numbers never end. The chart is ready. You know, you ever heard the saying off the charts? That's a funny saying because it's not real. There's no such thing as off the charts. The charts are always there. You can't go off the charts. The charts are ready for you. The charts are ready for $60 million Bitcoin, $6 billion Bitcoin. The charts are ready for $295 billion Bitcoin. Do you understand that? Do you understand where we are headed? Do you understand? Understand this. We started here. Less than a cent. Now we're here. So just seeing what I showed you right there, where do you think we're going to go? Just take a stab. Just take a wild stab. Right? How long is it going to take? You know, this is only 2029. 2029, we could be well over $1 million Bitcoin. Do you understand? Do you understand? Currency debasement. What's the I can't remember what I called this one. Ouch? No. What did I call this one? This is hard. This is hard. This is hard. It's hard. It is hard. It is hard to understand that this is possible because people's brains can only comprehend so much these days. It seems that most folks have minds of goldfish. And it's because they get trapped in these small little boxes, these small little worlds, these small little boxes. They get trapped in these small little boxes. You need to break out of the box, folks. You need to break out of the box. You need to look around. When you see the way the world works, you can never unsee it. You can never unsee it. Drop a 1 in chat if you know how the world works. Come on, do it. Do it. Drop a 1 in chat. Does anybody know? Am I the only one here? I guess this is my world. We're just living in it. Okay, so I guess the question is, where's Bitcoin going to go tomorrow? That's what everybody wants to know. Where's Bitcoin going to go tomorrow? Let's do some top-down analysis. This is the weekly chart. Each one of these candles represents 1 week in time. These circles I put on here years ago, and look at that. Look at that. There's a good chance that we're going to be up in here before too long. But best case scenario is we come back down here first. So everyone's thinking Bitcoin's going to go, I don't know. I mean, like a lot of people got wrecked in October, so the sentiment's changed a little bit, which is actually good because we don't want people to be overly bullish, because when you're overly bullish, what happens? Well, liquidity. When people are overly bullish, they put the liquidity. Hey, look at this. See, look at this. So this is the Bitcoin price going up in the end of September, beginning of October. This right here is liquidity. People buying. People are interested in the price moving up. But these people, they put that liquidity in, but they never sold. They never took profits. And what happens? Wham. Absolute whammy. That right there is them getting stopped out of their position because they're using leverage. And when you're using leverage, that means that you can put $100 in, but you can hold $1,000 position with 10x leverage. So you're borrowing $900, but that $900 is going to cost you. So you're going to pay a funding fee, and you're going to pay a maker and taker fee. Okay. Not only that, your position has what's called a liquidation price, which means if you get in at $109,000 with leverage, your liquidation price could be as close as 108, depending on how much leverage you're using. Less leverage, further liquidation. More leverage, closer liquidation price. This is to cover your loss because you're borrowing money from an entity, from an exchange. And if your position is going to lose them money, they're just going to take your money and liquidate your position. Sorry, sir. Please play again. Your roll up the rim. Please play again. You liquidated. So look at this. Everybody thought October Bitcoin was going to go to 150K. 150K is imminent. 250K is imminent. All this liquidity. We're talking on this one exchange alone, $367 million in that one position. $161 million, $213 million, $85 million. The more yellow you see, the more liquidity is there. Okay? These people had that large move. They made so much money. They probably could have been retired with that amount of liquidity in the market, but they didn't. They got greedy. They got greedy and they got wiped out. Bing, bong, liquidation. The exchange doesn't want to pay you. Put it this way. If you owned a bank and people borrowed money from you and you charge them interest, but then the price of an asset that they're using as collateral went down in price, what would you do? Would you want to take that loss? Remember, you're responsible for all these people's liquidity. You're responsible, but the asset that they're using as collateral is losing value. So that means that you're not only losing the money, you're losing the value of the asset that they use as collateral. Again, back to what I was saying earlier. They are in it to win it. Okay? They are in it for 100% win rate. So if you over leverage, you're going to get liquidated. That's what happened right here. Everybody thought Bitcoin was going to 150, 250, etc. Blah, 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 blah. Whammy. The exchange does not want to pay you because, right, if these people are borrowing your money, getting rich off of you, and the price goes up, well, then now you have to pay those people that difference. See how that works? They don't want to do that. They want the 100% win rate. If they want the 100% win rate, they can't be paying people out. They can't be paying these people that are over leveraged. They can't do that. No, that's not 100% win rate. They're going to take a loss. So what do? Whammy. Whammy. They push the price down to their orders where they buy it right back up again. So this happened. This crash literally took 5 minutes. I shorted this. I mean, I told people on this channel, you guys, I told people right here, this liquidity is going to get tapped. And it didn't. I figured I was looking for a long position right here because of the clear liquidity grab. Would have made sense. We were building liquidity above, right? So would have made sense to go up to take that liquidity first. Never got the long position from there, but I ended up getting a long position in a retrace and I longed it. And we took profits, we took profits, we took profits. You can't, nothing goes up forever, nothing goes up in a straight line. Then, right here, we're talking beginning of October, end of September, people are going, October's the best, October's the best performing month in freaking assets and crypto, and we're gonna be rich. Nope, you're gonna get wrecked, okay? Especially if you're all over social media saying that, oh, I leveraged my entire portfolio is leveraged and my neighbor's giving me his money and my sister-in-law gave me her money and we're going to 1 million. No, no, that's not happening. You don't, they're not going to let you win like that, man. They're not going to let you win like that. Okay. You got to be smart about it. I saw videos of a lot of people took their own lives. This crash right here, because not only did they lose their money, they lost their family's money because they were over leveraged, because they didn't understand how the world worked. See what I'm trying to get at here? You need to understand how the world works to protect yourself, to protect your family, man. I am a man. I was born a man. I identify as a man. My job is to protect my family. That's my purpose in life. Okay? As men, that's our job. We provide, we protect. We're supposed to figure out how the world works, make sense of all the madness, and do what we can to protect our family. Our family, our friends, our loved ones. That's our job. Okay? That's our purpose. So please, if you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Anybody can do it. Pay attention to reality, okay? Don't listen to one person on YouTube. Don't listen to one person on X. Don't listen to anybody on Facebook or Instagram. Like, that is toxic. Understand, like, there's so many websites out there. Like, the internet is vast with knowledge. Vast! So much knowledge. So much knowledge. Stop. I mean, couple times a day, you can watch some silly videos. That's okay. But don't do it all day long. Don't get sucked into reels for 3 hours. Okay? You can better your life in 15 minutes if you are looking at the right thing. If you are paying attention to the right thing, 15 minutes on the internet can change your life. You can spend your entire life watching shitty videos on the internet and never learn a thing. In fact, your parents even told you, too much of that's going to rot your brain. Guess what? They were right. They were right. Not only is it rotting your brain, it's disconnecting your neurological connections. Okay? It's actually unplugging. Your brain is made up of dendrites. These are tiny little neurons, tiny little pathways for your neurons to connect from one another. So when you're trying to think of something, your brain goes, oh, there it is. Got it. Swing. Right? So what's that Bradley Cooper movie, Limitless? The NZT? You know, it makes the brain work. You can do that to yourself. You can give yourself natural NZT by learning, by reading, by figuring out new things, challenging yourself, and building the density of your medulla oblongata. No, not the medulla oblongata. I just had to say that because that's funny, but you know what I mean? Okay? Densify your brain. Omega-3s, fat. Make sure that you are consuming cholesterol. North American Health tells you to stay away from cholesterol. You know why? Because your brain is made of cholesterol. Your brain is made of fat, and you need it to think. And guess what? What's the easiest way that we can stop these people from thinking and challenging our status quo? Well, let's make them stupid. Let's starve their brain. The one thing that is going to be our competition. Your brain is their competition, right? So they're going to starve you of cholesterol. They don't want you to eat that because it makes you think. It denses your brain up, makes you smarter. Okay? Sure, it might get clogged in your arteries, but don't sit around and be a couch potato, man. Get out, go for a run. Do 100 push-ups a day. I've been doing 100 push-ups a day for well over a year, and man, I feel fantastic. I feel better now at 35 than I did my entire 20s because I'm very active and of course just searching the web for all these knowledge and stuff and densifying my brain. All that stuff honestly makes you feel really good too. The more you know, the more you you just see the world for what it is. It makes you feel like anxiety, see ya. Stress, see ya. If you understand how the world works, you will not be affected by anxiety. You will not be affected by stress. You will not be affected by anything that they prescribe a pill for, anything that they can treat, because you're like, no, I'm good. I'm good on my own. Drink more water. I don't care how much you drink more. Electrolytes, salt, a lot of the things that they say were bad for you, it was a lie. You know what I say? Okay, so if you don't travel, I recommend traveling. You should definitely get out and see the world, because I'm actually only just figuring out in my 30s how much amazing places there are to see and visit. And honestly, like when you go out and see these places, man, the energy, feel the energy of these places, man, like these, massive trees and ancient sites, and it is literally life-changing. You got to do that. But if you sit at home and rot, that's all you're going to do. You're just going to be paying taxes. You're just going to be fucked. You're better than that. You can do better than that. I know you can. But, okay, what I was getting at, sorry, off track a bit, but if you were trying to, say, put on 20 pounds of muscle, you wanted to work out, you wanted to get buff, right? That's your goal, okay? Are you going to listen to somebody who's 300 pounds of fat? Like, I'm not talking about a big NFL muscular guy. I'm talking about somebody who's round. Are you going to listen to their words to try and become muscular? No, of course not. Why would you do that, right? So look at North America and the health structure that they recommend. Okay? Look around Just even go to a bus stop downtown and just see how many people are overweight in North America. Now, go to Japan and go to a bus stop and see how many people are overweight. I'll wait. You go do that and come back. I'm just kidding. You can go on like the Frame channel and see it on whatever. But anyways, you got to take information from somebody who knows what they're talking about. Okay. The whole point is that you don't take information from somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay. Don't let yourself get misled by somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. Oh, Surely Sound Studio. Yay. Give her a go, bud. You don't know until you know. Okay. There is there's very easy ways to figure out how to do what you want to do with your life. You gotta obtain those goals. Sorry guys, I am shook today. I am like this. That game last night, I had to come on here and rant for a bit. We're not even talking about trades. I'm not even in a trade right now. I guess. Let's see. What I'm gonna do here is I'm probably not gonna do anything today. I'm defeated, man. I am defeated. I invest. Okay, my ROI. I'm happy with the ROI. My return on investment for the Blue Jays was amazing. Game 5 in Seattle, it was amazing. Everything was amazing. They won the AL East, the hardest league in baseball. I have zero regrets. But here's our daily. We're stuck under the 200 on the daily. I think we're probably going to come down and see this red line again. There's a very good chance. We were here last week, and what chart were we on last week? Right here, we were last week, and we put that little red box. We said look for shorts with red box. Probably a good chance that this single print will be filled. Didn't actually take a short from there because I figured it'd come a little bit higher. But who knew, right? Put the red box there, look for the short. Bam, rejection from the red box. Now we're back in this falling channel, which is a bullish pattern, but I wouldn't be surprised if we came back down here. Everybody thinks that now November is going to be the best performing month. I mean, in history it is, but you got to understand the environment that you're in. So interest rates, that's a good thing. Let's talk about that. Everybody thinks now, oh, the Fed's cutting interest rates. The Bank of Canada is cutting interest rates. The Bank of Japan, they're cutting interest rates. It's all good, right? No. That is a sign that they're looking for exit liquidity. Guess what? People that are rich don't give a shit about the interest rate. They have more money than they need. Money just comes to them because they know how it works. So interest rates don't affect them. Interest rates affect the poor. So why are they lowering interest rates, Marty? Why are they doing that? Well, guess what? They need exit liquidity. Where are they going to get that liquidity from? The poor. How are the poor going to get that liquidity? Well, they can't afford it. We need to lower interest rates. It's backwards, man. Everything is backwards to what you were told. It's like pretty much it. Like everybody assumes that now that interest rates are coming down, the markets are going to go up. But no, probably not. Go back and look and see what happened the last time they cut rates. Let's just see what happened the last time they cut rates. Let's go back and see. Well, just off the top of my head, the last time they cut rates was 2020. Of course, we know why they did that. Where's 2020 on here? Oh my goodness, look at how far back we have to go. What year are we at? We're only at 2022. We got ways to go. Look at all these all this DCAing. The green boxes were DCAing. Oh man, well, that was fun. Buy zone, there's another one. So, time in the market will outperform timing the market every single day. Every single day. The longer you're in the market, the more you understand, the more you have of a perspective to understand, right? If you're just looking at one little thing, how can you figure it out? You need more information. More information. Stretch out the medulla oblongata, and you'll figure it out. Okay, so last time they cut interest rates was right around here. Everybody thought, oh yay, market's gonna go boom, 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 and then obviously that's not what happened. It's funny because we pretty much just went to our value area low. I mean, it wasn't even that big of a deal. But I guess it was, for anybody that bought Bitcoin at 9,000, 10,000, and it drops down to 3,000, like that's a bit of a hit. That's a bit of a hit. If you don't know what you're doing, of course, that's an amazing buying opportunity. And of course, look at when we were up here and I was talking to people, I said, this is our buy zone. We have come outside. Everything will move in ranges. Okay, because of currency debasement, we know that everything is going to be going up and to the right over the long term. But there's going to be ebbs and flows as we go. It's going to try and shake everybody out. It's going to try and screw everybody over. It's not going to, it doesn't want you to get rich. It's inevitable that the currency is going to zero, but they also don't want to lose power. They don't want to lose their money. They don't want to lose their way of life. It was only one ant. Yeah, it was only one ant. Pretend this seed's an ant. Did that hurt? No. How about that? Huh, no. How about this? Wham! Pulls off the jar lid and all the seeds come down and kill the grasshoppers. Well, it was just one ant. One ant stands up to us. They all stand up to us. And there goes our way of life. See? See? See how it works here? Okay? Pay attention when you're watching those kid shows with your kids, okay? People are trying to wake you up, have been for a long time. Anyways, what we're getting at here, I put this green box in here saying that was a good buy zone. People thought I was insane to be buying. And look at that, actually went below my zone. Went below. So we could actually, we can just pull that down. Why not? Buy. Of course, this is years ago, so hindsight's 2020. But it's the principle that is the same. It's because what happened after that, let's see. If we go right from here, we go April 2019 all the way to, let's say, July 2021. So over 2 years of sideways price action. But if you DCA'd that whole 2 years, guess what happened to your portfolio? Whammy. And then we do it again. And we do it again. Okay, and then the same thing happened. Everybody thought we were going to 100K right here. We came back down. I said, okay, now we've come back down into what is a reasonable price for Bitcoin, okay? Probably a good chance to DCA. And then we didn't even spend that much time in that area, and we got back out of it again. And I stopped buying Bitcoin because I waited it for come down. And then boom, guess what? Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at, just take a look at it. You got another 2 years, another 2.5, maybe even 3 years there. And then whammy. And this is logarithmic now, so pay attention. So see, we go 25,000, 29,000, 35,000, 40,000, 47. So the increments are getting larger as we're going up. So it may look like it's not as big of a move, but on a logarithmic scale, it's the only way to chart Bitcoin, because if you had these numbers going up in even increments, then we literally wouldn't be able to look at it, because it would just be, you wouldn't be able to fit it in the window. I'm not going to say off the charts, because we already went over this. We know that the charts never end. So it wouldn't be off the charts, but it would just be hard to look at in one window. Then you need to be able to have a proper perspective if you're going to take this stuff, if you're going to learn from this stuff. But anyways, buy zone, DCA zone, that was our long. That was a great one. That was good. Okay, so now what? Queso, now what? Well, you know what? I'll tell you for free. I don't know. I don't know. I can make a guess based on probability. That's all I'm ever doing when I'm trading every single day, is working probability. I don't care if I'm wrong. That's fine. As long as I'm right more often than I'm wrong, and or I cut my wrongs short, I'm profitable. That's all that matters. Probability, I'll take 60%. I'll take 70%. That's fine with me. Okay? Probability is everything. You're not going to win 100% of the time unless you're a politician and you've positioned yourself to take 100% win rate on all your trades, because you can manipulate the masses to do what you do, to buy all the things that you've already invested in and your family's been investing in for decades. That's why people want to be politicians, folks, so they can get that 100% win rate. Traders, man, they're traders. Traders make more than professional athletes. Traders are the highest paid people in the world. So, where are we going to go next? Well, look at this. I'm going to say long term. Probably I can't really put a date on it because it's hard to say, but I do believe Bitcoin will break this high within a year. I'm going to say within a year, but it's not going to be as soon as people think. And I really want people to understand this, because people are getting so sucked in right now. Oh boy, excuse me. So sucked into what's going on with the world and basically celebrating hyperinflation. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. The wealth inequality is getting very bad. Make sure you're on the right side of things, because if you are on the wrong side, you will be living behind 7-Eleven. Because you will not be able to afford anything, because you will be priced out. If you save dollars, you will be poor. If you live on a fiat standard, you will be poor. It's only a matter of time. If you save money in the bank, it's only a matter of time before you become poor. Does that make sense? You're like, whoa, Marty, what are you talking about? If I save money in the bank, it's so funny. I had my nephew ask me a little while ago how much money I had in the bank, and I laughed. I don't have any money in the bank, dude. Are you kidding me? 0. Bank account's at 0, bro. 0. He's like, what? No way. I'm like, yeah, dude. Bank account is at 0. I don't have any money in the bank. I took all my money out of the bank years ago. You know why? Because I figured out it was a fucking scam. Why would I keep my money in the bank when they don't give you any return on your investment? 0 ROI here, folks. Always pay attention to your ROI, right? Return on investment, whether you're investing money, investing your time, investing your skills, you have to understand ROI. Make sure if you're happy with what you're doing, you're helping people out, you're not 100% getting back, that's okay. Giving energy to the universe will always come back to you in time. What goes around comes around, and you can't argue that. In this universe, it's based off, it's all energy. Everything's all energy. So if you project positive energy, you will receive positive energy. Okay. So that being said, that aside, pay attention to your ROI with whatever you're doing. For me, putting money in the bank, not an ROI that I was happy with. I did it for a long time, of course, when I was a kid, and I just paid attention to what other people that were older than me told me to do, and I figured that's what you're supposed to do. I put money in the bank. Okay, sure. I think I made like hundreds of dollars off of tens of thousands in the bank, and inflation was coming in hot at like they were saying it was like 9%, but looking at your grocery bill, looking at gas prices, looking at asset prices, it's well over 100% the last few years. Well over 100% since 2019. Well over 100%. Okay, they're never gonna tell you the truth because they don't want you to freaking riot and be like, it's a scam, even though it is. They know it is, but they don't want you to know that. So they're not gonna give you the right information. They soothe it in to try and make you happy. Oh, nothing but be happy. So yes, why would we have money in the bank? No, I hold my money in real estate. I hold my, sorry, I shouldn't say money. I hold my value, because money is just representing your value, but it doesn't do a very good job, because it's like trying to hold sand in your hand. And if you have skinny fingers like me, where's the camera? Skinny fingers like me, you can't hold sand. I cannot hold sand in these hands. See these hands? Do you see these hands? You can see right through these hands. I can't hold sand in these hands. It doesn't work. I try, it falls out. I try to hold sand, even if I had 2 hands, it still just falls out. That's what saving money gets you. Is every time they print money, it devalues the currency. Currency debasement. That's what we're talking about, this whole thing. Currency debasement, right? Quick little metaphor for you. Simile, however you want to say it. I'm not going to use like or as, so it's going to be a metaphor. You got 5 kids sitting at a table. They say they're hungry. I'm sure somebody can relate to this. You give those 5 kids 1 Cheerio each. What's going to happen to those 5 Cheerios from the 1 kid each? They're going to eat them. They're going to eat them, and they're going to eat them quick. You give those same 5 kids 5 Cheerios each. They're hungry. They're probably going to eat them. Valuable. You give those same 5 kids a box of Cheerios each. Dump it on the floor right in front of them. What's going to happen? They're going to go everywhere. None of them are going to eat. And they're going to eat maybe a handful of them, and the rest of them are going to fly over the place. They're going to start throwing them around. No value. The more you add, the less valuable it becomes. Do you understand? Nothing is different when it comes to the money that they print. We have a giant pool of liquidity. It's called our money, our fiat, our monetary policy. And every time they add money to that monetary policy, it becomes worth less. We were looking at this last week. Purchasing power. You can basically look at the price of gold and invert the scale, and it shows you your purchasing power, because gold is a sound asset. Gold has always done what gold has done. It's never changed, okay? The use case for gold, what we have, everything's gone around. Gold is basically what you could say as like a median asset, okay? Everything else is moving around it. Gold is staying the same. So you think that the price of gold is going up, but it's not. The price of gold isn't changing. It's only going up in a comparison to the US dollar, because they're printing the US dollar. So that US dollar is getting less valuable. The price of gold isn't going up. The price of silver isn't going up. The price of Bitcoin isn't going up. The value of the dollar is going down. And we ultimately know that it's going down forever, because all they do is print it. And back to what I was saying earlier, 200 years for our first $1 trillion in debt. 200 years for our first $1 trillion in debt. $2 trillion in debt this year alone. So now what took 200 years is happening twice a year. And it's only going to get worse, okay? So right now, they can suppress the price of Bitcoin. If you're looking for trades, honestly, I think we're getting rejected by the POC right here. I see lower prices next week for Bitcoin. If we lose this green area down here, we're going to go all the way down here. We might see sub 100K Bitcoin, okay? No one's going to like it, especially when we're supposed to be going up all-time highs in the end of the month, Q4. Sorry, folks. If you didn't take profits, depending on how long you've been in, you might still have some time to take profits. But just know that if you do see a bit of a relief rally, that's your chance to take some more profits, because there's no money. There's no money coming in, okay? And you can just, this is money flow. This green is money flow. Money flow is in the green, but it's crossing into the red, and we see a turn down, and money flow comes in. That was the exchanges pumping the price to liquidate the shorts, and then to get everybody excited and liquidate the longs. So that was basically just manipulation. This whole move was manipulation. If you take this move off the charts, we've basically just been going sideways. This channel is basically, we've been pretty much following this. Despite this is pure manipulation. And we're going to continue to do that. And it's going to continue to go down until we have new money coming into the system, coming into the ecosystem, right? Because we know that everybody's poor. Retail is poor. So they're lowering interest rates, right? They're trying to do everything they can right now to get retail to buy. You're seeing commercials for Fidelity. You're seeing commercials for Wealthsimple. You're seeing all these commercials for invest with us, invest in gold. Would you like 100? Maybe 200? Maybe $1 million? CapitalDirect.ca. When you see this stuff on TV, these people need your money. You don't see that when we're at all-time lows, okay? When we're at range lows, you do not see those commercials. You see these commercials when we are at range highs, right? So just a quick little recap. Everything moves in ranges because the dollar is going to zero, right? So ultimately, DCA for your entire life, you'll be good to go. I like to play the ranges, and I buy low and sell high because I'm a trader. That's how I've decided to make a living. It's working out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm going to continue doing that. But if you don't want to trade, pay attention to the charts, and maybe it doesn't make sense to you, you can just DCA. because you know you can't buy a house. You cannot DCA into a house. It's impossible. You need like $80,000 just to put a down payment on a house these days. Pretty intangible for most people. And also, not only do you need $80,000, they won't let you borrow that $80,000. You are not allowed to put a down payment on a house with borrowed money. Did you know that? Unless you know somebody, of course. I figured out a guy that could do that. I didn't do that, but I know somebody who has done that. But for the most part, like if you go to the bank to try and buy a house, they're not going to lend you the down payment and then mortgage the house for you. Like, it doesn't work that way. You need to have that capital to put down. But that capital is intangible for 99% of the population, right? Something is going to give here, folks. So this is kind of what I want everybody to understand here. There's been a large crash looming for decades. Okay, we had 2008, we had 2000 .com bubble. We are now 15, 16 years, 17 years removed from our last large correction, unless you want to say 2020, but we just looked at the charts a few minutes ago and we know that the 2020 correction was but a grain of sand. We are but grains of sand. It's fucking transcendental, Paul McCartney. It was nothing, okay? They made it a big deal on the news, but it was nothing compared to the charts. But we are gearing up for another one, for sure. The lower interest rates with jobs and everything else being... We have stock market all-time high. Let's have a quick look at the S&P here. Like, look at this thing, man. Look at this thing. This is at an all-time high. This is all-time high, SPX. Look at that. Bam. Broke it, retested. Continue on. So here's home. That we had a crash there last year. Was that, or it was early this year? Oh man, I remember that. Actually, that was great. That was good. That was a very good opportunity. So if we see things like this along the way, then we actually have hope. That's actually good. It's when we don't see things like this for a long period of time that we will come back home, right? The further away we get from that purple line, the harder it's going to be when we come back to it, because we're going to come back to it. It always comes back to it. It always comes back to it. Whether we go up or down, we always come back to it. Moving average, okay? Remember, we know that the price of the dollar, or we know that the value of the dollar is going to zero. So this line is going up, but sometimes emotions push people to go a little bit over leveraged, and those over leveraged positions get wiped out before moving forward. Always, 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 always. And look at this. Bear, 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 bear. I mean, is it bearish? Yeah, it's pretty bearish. It's starting to roll over. We went under, yeah. This very well could be a bloody week in the markets here. First week of November here, 2025. Very well could be bloody. Very, very bloody. People are trying to get rich, and they don't do their own research before trying to get rich. They just listen to a video that they saw on TikTok, and they think that they can do it. But it takes years of dedication. Years of dedication. You need to understand what's happening, folks. You need to understand. You need to understand how it works. You can do it. I know you can. I know you can. Oh, but that's about it. Holy moly, you've been going for over an hour and 20 minutes. What have I been saying? I hope you learned something today, folks. I really do. I'm going to go outside, get some fresh air, because still dealing with the loss. Major respect to the Blue Jays. You guys had a great season. Very grateful for the whole experience. The playoff run was so fun. It consumed me. It absolutely consumed me. But it was great. I loved every minute of it. Respect to the boys. I hope that core group can hold together for another season. They definitely have a chance to be the #1 team in baseball again. And yeah, I don't know, folks. It looks like we're getting tight here on the momentum. So most likely we'll see a move tonight, going into pre-market tomorrow. And whatever move that is, basically this is what happened last time. We were looking, that was the pre-market move. We were looking for shorts in the red box, and then that was the week. So pre-market usually liquidates the over-leveraged positions before moving the direction that it will in the week. For instance, this is where were here last week, and the move was down. The market makers wanted to go down, but they went up first to liquidate those positions before moving down because they don't want to pay those people. So what now? Well, we're stuck under the POC, not looking very good. And unless we can get up, like if we can get up here and stay above this yellow line, stay outside of this trend line here, then we have a chance to come back up to the red line. Now, volume profile law says value area high, POC, value area low, POC, value area low, POC, value area low, POC. It kind of says like it's almost potentially time to come back and see the value area high. Right? That would make sense but we need to get on top of the POC and hold it as support. But look at all this resistance up here, man. I'm telling you, that does not look good. It's a lot of people looking to sell Bitcoin up here, man. A lot of people, and it makes sense. From what I've been saying, it makes sense. These people bought Bitcoin at 20K. These people bought Bitcoin at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70K. This is profit. This is profit-taking season. If you understand how the world works, make yourself a 5-year plan and stick to it. Stick to it. Don't let any random bit of news, oh, these guys are doing this now, blah, blah, this is ETF, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't matter what's happening in the news. It really barely at all matters what's happening in the world at all. The assets are going to do what they do because it's based on human psychology. So, I told my kids, and I recommend the same thing for you, I will pay for my child's post-secondary education if they want to learn psychology and if they want to learn economics. Everything else, we'll see. I mean, if they're doing good, and we'll talk about it when we get there, but without a doubt, regardless of what they're doing with their lives, I will happily pay for post-secondary education in economics and psychology. Because if you understand psychology and you understand economics, it doesn't matter what you want to do with your life, you will have enough money to do whatever you want to do with your life. The psychology and the understanding of economics will provide the money that you need to do whatever it is you want to do. Whatever it is you want to do. So if you want to be, I don't know, photographer, you want to travel, blah, 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 you want to do all this stuff, that might require some schooling, blah, 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 but how are you going to pay for that? How are you going to live off that? How are you going to contribute to society to make yourself, useful to, gain an income and provide value? You need to understand psychology and economics. Psychology and economics. Okay. That's how everything works. The financial system runs the world. The financial system is run by psychology. If you understand psychology, you understand the financial system, you understand how the world works, you will be successful. Plain and simple. Okay, folks? Let's have a good day. I love y'all. Peace out. And I don't know, man. Be grateful because we're still here. Peace. I recommend putting your opinions aside and learning how to think logically